Okay, so recap real quick where we were before. We set up a 400 pixel by 400 pixel sketch window with a background that is this color right here, this orange color right here, using the 3 values of RGB color mode. We set up a draw block and we are looping continuously the line that we are drawing, which is fixed on the one side and then follows mouse X and mouse Y on the other side, so we get an effect like this, okay? And then we set up outside the draw block so it does not loop, but only when we choose mouse pressed. And we can press on the mouse and that'll redraw the background again, and really it'll clear all those lines. So if we draw a ton of lines on here, we can clear them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this sketch and we'll just close it, not save, open a new one. I guess I could have just deleted everything on that last one. Okay, so let's go ahead and do void setup. Okay, open and close parentheses, open and close curly braces. And inside void setup, let's just set the size. And we'll set the size to something different this time, for 80 by 120. Okay? All right, let's run the sketch. So there's our sketch window. Okay, easy enough. Let's go down here and go to void draw. Okay, same exact syntax as in setup there. Okay, void draw. Now, I'm going to throw in an if statement. So let's go ahead and say if, all right, mouse pressed, and notice again that's camel cap there, camel casing, I believe they call it. Mouse pressed, I'm going to actually open up another curly brace, okay? And this is what I was talking about when it's really helpful to open one and close one. Because see, we have our draw block here, which is open and closed, and everything that is contained inside these curly braces is part of the draw block, right? So now we have an if statement, which also has curly braces. Everything within these curly braces are part of the if statement that are within the draw block, okay? So that's why it's really helpful just if you open one, close it, and then put anything inside of it that you're planning to. Okay, so let's talk about what we have so far. So draw, so this is going to loop. If mouse is pressed, then what should we do? Let's fill with 0, okay? And that's a color. So it's saying fill with black, okay? Remember, this would be white, this would be red, this is black. Okay, so if mouse is pressed, fill with 0. Okay, easy enough. Now what I want to do is stay within my draw block. So I'll go ahead and put notice if I highlight this, that one pops up. I'm gonna move that down because I want all of this to happen within my draw block. Okay, so if mouse pressed, fill with black. Okay. Or else, and that's where the if else statement comes in there. So if this or else this. Okay, so else, open braces, curly braces. Everything that goes inside of here will be part of just the else here. So let's do fill with white. Okay, 255 white. Okay, easy enough. But what are we drawing? Okay, we're drawing an ellipse. Let's do an ellipse this time. So an ellipse. Okay, and let's go ahead and do mouse X by mouse Y. Okay, and then we'll make it 80 by 80. Let's talk about it real quick. So we already saw mouse X and mouse Y in the last video. Okay, now an ellipse is a little bit different than a line. Remember when we draw a line, there is 4 different values that represent the x and y coordinates on the left side of the line and the x and y coordinates on the the other side of the line, the right side of the line. Okay, now with an ellipse, the first 2 values here represent the position. The second 2 represent the width and height of the ellipse. Okay, so if we draw an ellipse that is 80 by 80 width and height, it's equal, so that'll be a perfect circle. Okay, and we're saying in the position of wherever the mouse is. All right, let's go ahead and run it. Okay, and there we go. See that? It's following, the circle's following me around. Now, so the X and Y position is following the mouse. Okay, and the 80 and 80 here, let's go ahead and just change 1 to 10 and run it. So now you have this really extreme oval. Okay, so that's the, and of course we could do that to the other one. So if they're both equal, then we have a perfect circle. All right, so that works exactly like we expected. We are filling with white a circle that is following the mouse X and mouse Y that is 80 by 80 pixels. Okay, so let's look at our if-else statement. So if mouse is pressed, fill with black. So if I press the mouse, now we have a black circle. Okay, if I let go, it's white. So if the mouse is pressed, fill with 0, fill with black, or else, meaning let go of the mouse, then fill with white. Okay, so that's how if-else statements work. And you're going to be using those a lot as well. And as you look at other people's more complex sketches, when you're exploring what processing can do, I highly recommend the website Open Processing, and there'll be links to that below this video on the Principles of Interactive Media site. But because you're going to run into if-else statements a lot. So take some time to change the values here and really internalize what's going on here. For example, let's go ahead and make this 255, 0, and 0. And let's go ahead and make this 0, 0, 255. And let's talk about that. So if the mouse is pressed, I'm going to run the sketch again, make it red. Okay, so we press the mouse and it's red, or else make it blue. Okay? And again, that's 0 red, 0 green, full blue. Okay? And of course, we can mix those like so. And there we have our cyan, okay, which is a secondary color within RGB. And again, if you're not sure what I'm talking about here with the RGB, check our RGB video. Okay, so this is a simple sketch. We're controlling quite a bit now, though, with just this little bit of code. And you can actually see how simple processing code really is before you can start getting some interesting patterns and effects with it. So just to recap here, void setup, that's only run once, and we have the size of our window. Void draw loops, okay, and in this case it's looping, drawing this ellipse every frame, and we are able to control the color of the ellipse with this if-else statement. And this is all within the draw block, okay? And again, mouse X and mouse Y, make sure you capitalize the X and the Y when you use these functions. And go ahead and move them around, you know, just try and have some fun. Let's go ahead and copy that and put it right here. Whoops. Okay. Just to see what happens. And let's go ahead and make our window equal sizes here. So we'll make that 480. All right, and run the sketch. Okay, there we go. Now you can see that what's happening here is it's growing as we move because it's following the x-axis of the mouse, but not on the y-axis, right? So, and this is actually governing the size, right? These ones govern the position, these govern the size. So let's go ahead and let's change this one here to mouse Y. And we'll run the sketch. Okay, so there we go. And look at that. Easy enough, right? Now, let's go ahead and expand on this sketch a little bit. So there's a lot more that we can throw into this sketch pretty easily. That, for example, suppose you want to get rid of the cursor, okay? If you want to get rid of the cursor, all you have to do is throw in no cursor. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And whoops, no cursor, and note that it's the camel casing again, and close that out with a semicolon. Okay, let's run the sketch. All right, now you notice that there's no more mouse cursor on the screen. Okay, and you know, getting rid of that mouse cursor is a pretty nice thing to be able to do. All right, so let's go ahead and look at some different ways we can approach color in this thing. Okay, let's throw in some random values, okay? Okay, so I'm actually going to go ahead and change this back to something like 80 and 80, though. 80 and 80. Run the sketch. Okay, and there's our circles again. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to expand on the way the colors work here by using random, and that way I can demonstrate how random works inside the draw block. And let's see what else. Oh, also work with the alpha channel so that we get some transparency in our shapes, because really if we can kind of randomize the colors and get some transparency, we can start to make some pretty interesting patterns here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in the next video. Thanks.